My name is Kelly Dell and I'm owner of Off the Beaded Path located in Forest City, North Carolina. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to make a ring using our right angle weave technique. This is going to be a pretty long video just because for the first kind, I kind of have to go step by step by step, really kind of in depth. So we're going to break this up into two parts. The first part I will be showing you is going to be how to make our flat right angle weave pieces, and then the second part, which is going to come in 3 days, will be to teach you how to take those 3 or 4 or whatever, how many you want, and put those together to make your ring and how to finish off your ring. So again, there'll be two parts. There'll be the part that you're watching now, and then 3 days from now, we're going to upload the second part so that you will have enough time to get your base finished for your ring. To do the ring, you're going to need some size 11 seed beads, regular seed beads. Now you want to try and get like some Japanese seed beads, not deligos, but more like Toho seed beads, or some kind of seed bead that has more of a regular shape. You don't want to go to like Walmart or Michael's or somewhere like that and buy your seed beads that they're going to be check and not really good seed beads, because it's very important that you have consistency in these. I'm going to be using multiple colors. The reason I'm going to use multiple colors is so that you can see what I'm doing more easily. You may not want multiple colors. You may only want 1 or 2. It's completely up to you. But I suggest, for the ring that I'm going to show you how to make, I suggest at least 3 colors of a size 11 seed bead. You're going to need 1 color of a size 15 seed bead, and you're going to need some 3mm bicones. I'm going to be using a size 12 beading needle as well as some 6-pound Fireline. Don't go over 6-pound Fireline. If you do, when you do your top layer and I show you how to connect it, you may not be able to get back through some of the beads as many times as you need to. So, go ahead and get your materials together, and then I'll show you the ring and we'll get started. So here is the ring that I'm going to be teaching you how to make today. As you can see, it is layers of right angle weave strip. This particular ring has 3 strips. It has a bottom strip that is matte pink, like this. The middle strip is a rainbow pea green. The top strip is a turquoise. And then my connection beads here are yellow, bright yellow. So I have 3 really fun, bright summer colors. Now, if you wanted to add more colors, you could throw in an orange or a purple or kind of whatever you want. The original ring here has 3 layers. The ring I'm going to demo for you is only going to have 2 layers, but it's just because I found that once I wear this ring, with the 3 layers, it tends to sit up a little higher, so it kind of gets caught on things a little bit more. But with the 2 layers, it sits a little closer to the finger and doesn't get caught as much. So you can do 2 layers, you can do 3 layers, whatever you want to. Completely up to you. I'm going to do my first layer with my green. Now I'm going to call this color A. So I have my needle threaded with about a yard of 6-pound Fireline. And the first thing I'm going to do is pick up 4 beads. Let me get these out of the way here. Okay, so I have my 4. I'm going to bring them down. Don't pull them off your thread like I just did. Bring them down. Go back through all 4 again in the same direction. This is going to be the same whether you're right-handed or left-handed. And then you want to take, the biggest mistake I see people make is they pull their threads apart like this and like, oh, don't make a circle. Well, you have to put them together and pull, and it does what you want it to. Now I'm going to go ahead and tie these 2 threads together into just a couple of good knots. Be careful not to get the knots caught around any of your beads. Next to the knot, you're going to go through 2 beads. So here's my knot. I'm going to go through 1 and 2. So I have my tail thread down here. I have my working thread here. Just like in the last video, when each box consisted of so many beads, it's going to be the same for this one. Each one of our boxes will consist of 4 beads. 1, 2, 3, 4. The bead that we're currently coming out of, which is this bead here, will serve as the first bead for the new box. So I have 1 bead. I need 4 total, so I'm going to pick up 3 more. My thread is exiting to the left, so I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go through that same bead from right to left, so that when I pull, it makes a circle. I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to go through 2 beads. I have to be coming out of this bead up top to get into the next position for the next one. So I'm going to come up through this bead and then through this top bead here. So right now I have 2 circles. I have the first one we made and I have the second one that we just made. My thread is exiting to the right here. This is my first bead of my new circle. Each circle consists of 4 beads, so I'm going to pick up 3 more beads. Since my thread is exiting to the right, I have to take my needle and go through the bead from left to right. So I'm making a circle, constantly making a circle. I need to get into position up here. So I'm going to continue on through 2 more beads. I'm going to come up through the side bead here and then through my top bead. Okay, so I have 3 boxes, and if you can stick your needle through here to count your beads if you want to the side, or if they're a little wonky, you can fix them, whatever you want to do. Here's my bead, my top bead I'm coming out of. This is bead 1 of my box. I'm going to pick up 3 more. Thread is exiting to the left, so I have to take my needle. I want to come around for a circle, so I'm going to come through the bead from right to left, pull through, and I'm going to come up through the side bead and through the top bead. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. And again, if you want to, you can straighten up your little side beads there and count your boxes. Thread is exiting to the right. That's my first bead. I'm going to pick up 3 more. I'm going to come back through the same bead from left to right to make a circle. I'm going to come up through the side bead here and then through the top bead. Threads exiting to the left. Pick up 3 11s. Want to make my circle, so I'm going to come back through the same bead that I'm coming out of. And I'm going to come through this bead and this bead. So up through 1 and then through the top. And I keep my fingers on my beads so that it keeps my tension nice and tight. Again, if you want to stick your thread through these side beads here to straighten them up, It'll also help you count and see how many boxes. So far, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 8 total boxes, so we've got 2 more to go. Coming out towards the right, pick up 3 beads. Come back through the bead to make a circle. Up through 1 bead. And then through the top bead. So that's 7. We need 8 total boxes, so I'm going to pick up 3 more beads. Come back through to make my circle. And then go. I need to be coming out over here so that I can start my next row. So instead of just going through my 2 beads, I'm going to go through 3. So I'm going to go through 1, through my top bead, and then down through my side bead. But now before I do that, I'm going to stick the needle through so that you can see my boxes again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 total boxes. I'm just going to go down through that 1 bead right there. So that gives you a strip that looks like this. So basically, to review what I just done, I started out with 4 beads in my box. Here was my knot. I went through this bead and this bead. I picked up 4 more beads. 3 more beads, I'm sorry. 2, 3. And I come back through the beads the same direction so that it made a circle. I came up through, I needed to get into position, so I came up through this bead here and through this bead here so that I was exiting this direction. Pick up 3 more beads, 1, 2, 3, and I've come back through that same bead to make a circle, and then you have to go through this bead and this bead to get into position. So each time, first box is 4, picked up 4, then each box after that on this first row, I picked up 3. To have 8 total boxes going up. Okay? So it's just basic first row. So right now on this is our 8th box. I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. I came out this direction of the box I made my circle to get into position for the next row, for our 2nd row. I had to come through 1, 2, and 3 so that I'm exiting out of the side bead here. Let me get the beadwork back. So I'm coming out of the side bead, just like it shows here, to come out of that box. Now, for the next row, this 1 bead here on the side is going to count as my first bead of the box. So I have 1 bead. I need to pick up 3 more beads. My thread is exiting the bottom of the bead, so I'm going to come back down through the same bead to make a circle. I need to get into position for my next box. So I'm going to come through this bead right here, my very next bead. So actually it's the first bead that I picked up in the previous step. Okay. My second box already has 2 beads. It has the bead I'm coming out of, and it has the side bead here of the next box on the first row. Remember, each box has 4 beads. I already have 2, so all I'm going to have to do is pick up 2 more beads. I'm going to come up through the side bead of the second box here at the top and pull this through. So this gives me my next row, or my next box. Now, to get into position for my next box, I have to go through the bead I was coming out of, the 2 beads I just added, and then the side bead of the next box, which will be this one. So, go through the box here at the center that I was just coming out of, through the 2 beads that I just added. So 1 and 2. And again, I put my finger on it to keep the piece tight. And then I had to come down through the side bead of the very next box, which is this one right here. Again, I have 2 beads to my box. I have 1, 2. Each box consists of 4 beads, so I'm going to pick up 2 more. I want to make a circle, so I'm going to come through this top bead here, going back towards the first row. I'm going to come down through that side bead that I was just coming out of, and then through the bottom bead of my box, which is the first bead that I picked up in this new box. So far I have 3 boxes complete on the second row. I have a bead here and a bead here, so this is 2 beads. Each box consists of 4 beads, so I have to pick up 2 more. I want to make a circle, so I have to come up through this bead here, my side bead of the next box, through the bead I was just coming out of, through the 2 beads that I just added, and then down through the side bead of the next box, which is the bead right here. Each box consists of 2. Pick up 2 more. Want to make my circle, so I'm going to go through the top bead going back towards the first row, through the side bead of the same box, and then through the first bead that I just picked up. Two beads to my box, pick up 2 more. I'm going to come up through the side bead of the next box, through the top bead, the 2 beads that I just added, and then the side bead to the box. So I'm coming through the top bead, through the 2 beads I just added, and then the side bead of my next box. And again, I think you can guess by now, we're going to pick up 2 beads. I'm going to make my circle. So I'm going to come back through the bead here at the top. Come through the side bead. And then through the first bead that I just added. Okay, and last box here at the bottom for my second row. I'm going to pick up 2. I want to make my circle, so I'm going to come up through the side bead from the first box down here. And I want to be coming out of this bead right here for the second row. So I'm going to go through this bead and this bead. So through there and there. So now I have 2 rows. If you have a question as to whether you have your 8 boxes or not, stick your needle through these side beads there, and you should be able to tell now if you have your 8 boxes, which I do. So again, at my top box on the first row, I was coming out of this bead in a downward direction. I picked up 3 and I went back down through the same bead. So here was 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this is my second row. Come through here, and then to get into position, I come through this bead so that I was coming out in this direction. Okay, here was my next box of 4. So I had, if I cover this up, I have this bead and this bead, that's 2. So I picked up 2 more, 1 and 2. And I come up through the side bead of the box, and then back through that same top bead. Okay, to get into position for the next circle, I come through this bead, and then down through the side bead of the next box. Again, I wanted to make a circle, so I picked up 2, 1, 2, made my circle, and exited this bead here to get into position for the next one. So each time, you're just making boxes to do your next box. So, have all 8 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Coming out of the bottom box, coming out towards the bottom here on the second row. First box, I'm going to have to pick up 3 beads because I only have 1 bead here. So I'm going to pick up my 3, come down through the same bead I'm coming out of, I need to be coming, I can't come out here because then you would see thread. So what I have to do is I have to come through these 3 beads here and then through the side bead of this next box to get into position. The whole point is you don't want to see thread going straight through from bead to bead. So you've got to go through all 3 beads of the first box, and then up through the side bead of the next box. And I can straighten that up a little bit there for my row. I have, just like the previous row, now I have 2 beads to my box. I'm going to pick up 2 more. I want to make a circle, so I'm going to go through this bead, my side bead, and then the top bead here of the box I just made. Pick up 2. Want to make my circle, So I'm going to come down through the side bead of the box, through the bead I was just coming out of. The 2 beads I just added, 1, 2. And then up through the side bead of the next box. And it looks bunchy as could be. And that's just, you're just making this strip of right angle weave, and it's just kind of hard to see. And you can straighten your beads out if you want to. 2 beads, 1, 2. So I'm going to pick up 2 more. Come back around to make my circle. Up through the side bead and through the top bead. Pick up 2. I want to make that circle, so I'm going to come down through the side bead. Through the connection bead here. Through the 2 I just added. And then up through the side bead of the next box. Pick up 2. I want to make my circle, so I'm going to come back through the top bead here of the box, through my side bead of the same box, and then through the top bead of the box I just made. Pick up 2. I want to make that circle, so I have to come down through the side bead, through the bead I was just coming out of, the 2 I just added, and then the top or the side bead here of the last box. So that, the 2 I just added, and the side bead of my final box on the row. Pick up 2. Want to make that circle, so I'm going to come back through the top bead here, now so far I have 3 rows, 1, 2, 3. I still have to have 1 more row over here, so to get into position I've got to come through the top bead and the side bead. So through the top and the side. Again, first box, I already have 1 bead, so I have to pick up 3 more, come back around to make my circle, and come through this first bead here that I added to get into position for the next circle. I already have 2 beads. I have this bead and this bead. I want to make my circle, so I'm going to come back up through the side bead, through the bead here that I was originally coming out of, through the 2 I just added, which is this one and then through the side bead of the next box. So this one, this one, and this one. Pick up 2 beads. I want to make that circle, so I'm going to go through this bead and this bead. I know this seems monotonous, but some people just have a really hard time with right angle weave, and I thought it would be best if I just go ahead and show you how to do one whole layer piece so that you can see. And if you have any problems You know, you've got 4 rows to watch and see what I'm doing and how to do it. Because some people just get right and go weave and some people don't. Until it clicks, all you're doing is making boxes. You're going to look at this and it's going to be completely Greek to you. But you're just doing boxes is all you're doing. Each time, just making a box. And the first box on each row, I basically picked up 3. And then every box after that, I pick up 2 on the rows. And I'm almost got it here. Got 2 more boxes to go for the row. And you'll get to be where you can go through 2 beads at one time. Like I can go through the bottom bead of the box and the side bead at the same time. But until you learn, just go through 1 bead at a time. Don't try and do too much. Okay, so my last box here, I'm going to pick up my 2. Now, I'm going to double count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got my 8 beads here. And again, if you have a hard time seeing them, just stick your needle through all the beads here that are on the side. And you can count your boxes and make sure you have the 8 that you're supposed to have. Now, you want to do, I'm only going to do 2 layers. So I'm going to do this and 1 more layer. If you want to do 3 layers, you'll have to make 3 of these. Like I did the pink, the green, and the blue. The thing about it is, on the bottom layer, which is my pink, and the top layer, which is the turquoise, do not trim your tail. You want to keep the tail. But the middle layer, you can go ahead and cut that tail. So, since I'm only going to do 2 layers, I'm going to go ahead and tie this thread off. So I'm going to go through a few beads here. I'm going to go through under the thread here between 2 beads. Leave myself a little loop. Stick the needle through the loop and pull. And I put a couple of knots in here just to be safe. You can take your cutters, your thread zapper, really good pair of sharp scissors, whatever you want to do. Go ahead and just get rid of those tails. So, go ahead and do your layers. And get all your layers together. So this is the end of the first video, or this first part. You want to go ahead and make all 3 of your layers. On the 3rd layer, so the top, whatever color you want your top to be, that's color C, you want to be sure, and on that top layer, cut instead of 1 yard, cut about 1.5 yards or 2 yards. I like to go ahead and cut 2 yards so that way I don't have to add on thread at any point. So, go ahead and do your 3 layers. Remember, on the 3rd layer, cut 1.5 to 2 yards rather than 1 yard. And then come back in 3 days and we will finish out the project. I'll show you how to do the embellishment on the top, how to connect your two pieces, and then how to add your ring band.